would say, in my experience, the industry average is between $200 and $500 for a 30 to 60 minute conversation. Larger clients, it won't matter. It might actually be a positive signal for it to be higher. For smaller clients and projects, I would say, in my experience, the industry average is between $200 and $500 for a 30 to 60 minute conversation. And a lot of that depends on seniority and level of involvement. Those are the two most important factors. How long do you need the person for, or what do you need them for? And how senior and how big of an organization they represent.
I think the sweet number that rolls around the market is your 300, 400, regardless if you are a manager to a VP level. And, once you think that you possess a certain kind of information, then the negotiation angle, goes for a whole toss. Even with the larger players, you're going to get quantity if you are at a very safe number, which is again in the range of 250, 300, 400.
If you go beyond the $500, you should make sure that your profile really matches the project and that you have enough experience to justify also this high rate. In my experience, the hourly rates play a way more significant role than they did maybe 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, the market went really hot, and also until the mid 2022. So rates were going up a lot, and we've seen people with only a few years of working experience charge $1,000 or more. And I think in my view, this has come to an end. So if you charge significantly more than $500, you are not very likely to be accepted, even by the large clients, I would say.
From my perspective, if someone's working with me in my company, speak to us. We do this day in and day out. We understand what the market rates are and what value you're bringing to the table in these particular cases. I think it's best just to have a conversation. If you are someone who works, you have attorneys and consultants who have actually specific hourly rates already that they kind of know on a corporate level. Those people, they can typically come in and you can put I think maybe add something extra on top of that. Oftentimes just go with your normal consulting rate. That's something that's totally reasonable that a lot of people do. And I think that is kind of the norm. Go with that your typical normal hourly rate. If you're unsure, it's best to have a conversation.
If the expert costs more to the expert network, then the expert network also has to charge the client more. So this actually really depends on the project type. So I know that, for example, certain smaller clients could have smaller budgets, and then in those type of projects, actually the expert's rate really do matter a lot because the clients don't usually want to pay a lot. But there could be a bigger project with a bigger budget where then maybe the price wouldn't matter at all. But I would say that definitely in most of the projects, the client has a budget and they don't want to exceed that budget.
If you are someone who is willing to, start with a lower rate and go up to a higher rate per consultation, and you are okay with answering screening questions, it's way more likely that your profile will be much more well advertised for the client, and then you get picked. And more projects you get picked for, more future projects will you sort of participate in as well. It's sort of a bit of a snowballing effect because you see that some specific experts are particularly good because they have many calls done already, and people are more likely to select them almost automatically for some consultations.
If you are new to the industry, try to start with smaller rates that, of course, you'd be comfortable and happy working with, and having a 1 to 2 hour call with the clients. But something that I have usually seen is that experts who are successful, they have mostly started with smaller rates, but once they have actually started to do 10, 20 calls, there's always room to renegotiate your price and increase how much you charge for these calls.
I think the most effective way to ask for a rate increase is ask when you receive a really good project proposal that really fits your skills. So that makes it easier for the network and for the client to digest. So if you notice that in a certain niche you are one of maybe 10 or 20 people that have the knowledge that is required, then that's a good point to ask for a raise. What you should avoid at all costs is do not ask for a raise after you've been suggested to a client. So that would make a real problem for the expert network. And in our case, I can say we will probably not work with you again, because we are committed to charging the rate that we have suggested to our clients. And if you afterwards ask for a raise, that will become an issue for us.